I wanted to feel less alone, and I did not realize how very not alone I am. I decided to make this video because I was so taken aback by how very not alone I am. Hello, wonderful humans, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Sarge, and I am so excited to have you here today. Whether you are new to this channel, a returning viewer or subscriber, welcome and thank you for clicking on today's video. I'm so excited to have you here. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna dive in and get started. I'm in a weird mood today, sorry about that. I'm a little like, wee, amped. I should probably not be drinking more coffee, but I am. Speaking of which, today's yummy beverage is magic bean juice, aka coffee. This is a single origin bean roasted by Conscious Coffee, and it is from the Democratic Republic of Congo and was prepared as a French press. That's how we make most of our coffee. So it's pretty good. I don't love it. I don't really like dark roast coffees. It's good, but it's not my favorite. I'm a light roast person. But anyway, you guys don't care. I'm rambling about things that have nothing to do with this video. So let's actually focus up, Sergeant, step away from the caffeine, and let's talk about today's topic. Let's do it. Okay, I swear we can do this. Earlier this month, I asked y'all on my Instagram, which I will list on the screen and also in the description box down below. So earlier this month, I posted a question on my Instagram stories asking y'all, does mental or emotional stress trigger physical pain and or flares for anyone else? I was totally blown away. One, by how many people responded, and two, by the response. So to anyone and everyone who responded to me, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. 100% of the people who responded to me said yes. 100% of the people who responded to me said yes, and I had a lot of people respond. Wow, I was not expecting that, honestly. I feel like I should have been, probably. Totally taken aback by that, right? Like, I was shocked. And I had asked that question because I actually, that day, was really struggling. I had like the most ridiculously stressful first part of my day. It was like emotionally stressful, it was mentally taxing. It was just one of those days that was like unrelenting stress and chaos. And what had happened was it was this like teeny tiny communication issue that I had with one of my physicians. Like one tiny communication issue turned into a huge, massive problem, and it literally took me like 5 or 6 hours to get resolved. It was just like this unrelentingly chaotic situation. So once the chaos ended and I was able to get everything resolved, finally, like early to mid-afternoon, I turned my phone off and I like went to sit on my sofa to just like exhale, like, whoa. And like a freaking Mack truck, bam, I got hit hard and fast with a surge of pain, symptoms, physical issues, and just like next level fatigue and exhaustion. It was so bad that I was dissociating. I was confused. I was obviously, like, when I dissociate, I get really confused. And I was in so much pain and I had so much weakness that I actually couldn't even get off of my sofa. Like, I couldn't move. I couldn't get off my sofa. It hit so hard and so fast. And unfortunately, as the day progressed, it got worse and worse and worse. And I just was like, oh my gosh, like out of nowhere, bam, I went from like normal not feeling well to just symptom, pain, exhaustion, overdrive. So I was feeling frustrated and I was feeling all kinds of feelings. I don't know. I had lots of emotions about it. Yeah, I was feeling really bad about myself. I was just frustrated. It's funny because it's one of those things that, like, it's not like it's the first time that it had happened, but that particular instance was so severe and extreme that I was just really frustrated. And I was like, are you kidding me right now, universe? Like, is this really what's happening? So I'm actually really happy that I decided to post that question. I figured I would reach out to my community. You all are awesome and I adore you. I wanted to feel less alone, and I did not realize how very not alone I am. I decided to make this video talking about that because I was so taken aback by how very not alone I am in this situation. So going back to me, because I generally on this channel, I advocate through telling my stories and my experiences because I don't want to assume anything about other people. I've never handled stress well. Like, it's kind of unfortunately like a personality trait in some way of mine. I just really don't handle stress in the way that society wants us to. I shut down. I don't handle stress well. I never have. Never have. This is also something that I have talked at length with my physicians and care team about, which is that stress management, I guess, is integral to managing any type of chronic illness, whether it be a mental health disorder or a physical disorder. Being able to manage your stress is crucial. I have talked to my doctors and my care team about this so many times I could scream. Like, it's sort of just like, yes, thank you so much for telling me once again that, like, stress isn't good for you, Sergeant. You need to be wary of that. Like, thank you. I know, doc. But for me, like, when I reach a certain level of physical, mental, or emotional stress, my body literally shuts down. My nervous system gets so overwhelmed and so just like amped that it can take the rest of the day, if not like 1 or 2 days, to get back to even what is my baseline and just to like start to stabilize myself. So even though I'm very aware that stress is bad for me, it's something that I have always struggled with in terms of how to manage it. It's just a really hard thing for me to manage. Once I realized how like not alone I was, I decided I was gonna do a little bit of research. This whole topic, it was one of those things where I felt so seen and so heard and so not alone that I just wanted to go a little bit more deeper, and I wanted to look a little further and just see, okay, if 100% of people who responded to me said that emotional and mental stress is connected to their physical pain and symptoms, that was such a staggering thing for me that I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a little bit more research and kind of see what information is out there, because I'm obviously not the only one struggling with this problem. My research was not successful at all. Pretty much everything, all of the information and everything that I found was talking about the long-term effects of like chronic stress and mental health disorders, and how the like long-term effects can affect pain. And I was more curious about like the acute situations of extreme stress and how that can affect it. So not long-term, but more like a short-term. I couldn't find anything talking about short-term stress. It was all long-term stress, and so that was kind of frustrating because that wasn't what I was looking for. And then on top of that, everything that I found was pretty much, if not 100% completely, from the perspective of the clinicians, scientists, and I never saw anything, even in the like scientific articles or things coming from doctors, clinicians, medical professionals, none of it ever took into account the patient perspective or the patient experience, and I found that to be kind of frustrating and disappointing because, like, y'all wrote a lot of articles about us, but you haven't talked to us about it. It was just very strange to me because there's nothing that talked about the patient's experience. It just made us, it was one of those situations where you do that research and it's like, I just kind of feel like a number. I don't feel like a person, and I don't feel like this research is referring to me as a person. It just didn't feel good for me to like see firsthand how many people this affects, and then to like go try to get research to help support us and be like, oh cool, nobody who's like writing about this, talking about this, is talking about how it affects the people it actually affects. I didn't find anything that I felt was valuable enough or what I was looking for, so I don't have any articles linked or anything because I didn't find anything, and it got to a point where I had to stop because it was making me so frustrated. It just started triggering some of my like trauma issues, and it was going into a not healthy place. So I stopped trying to do research. At this point then, the video changed again. The one thing I did discover in my research is that this is a scientifically proven thing. Like, science has proven that yes, when your chronically ill friend is like, yo, that level of stress is too much for me and now I'm having like a flare, they're not lying to you. Like, it's scientifically proven. This is a real thing. This is something that we deal with. It's also something that's just like constantly pushed on us, and I'd be curious to know, like, comment below if you are also somebody that feels like it's always being pushed on you, like, you have to control your stress, you have to control your stress, you have to manage your stress better. But like, it just kind of stops there. So like, it's always being pushed on me that I have to manage my stress. I have to control my stress. There's scientific proof that like I have to control my stress. So even though it's widely known that emotional and physical pain go hand in hand and that like they're pretty much inseparable, I could not find anything, nothing. I could not find anything, not only in terms of talking about the patient experience, but giving any advice on how to actually do said management of stress. That was phrased really weird, but that's okay. I just was like, really? Like, there was I didn't find anything of anyone actually attempting to like solve the problem. I didn't find anything about anyone attempting to help individuals. It was just sort of like, stress is bad, and as patients we know that, but the reality of our lives is that stress is also really hard to avoid. First of all, pain can cause stress, so that's a challenging cycle to be stuck in. I personally have experienced that, where like the level of pain physically that I'm in causes me to have mental health issues. It causes me to get really anxious. It causes me to get really stressed. So like pain can cause, so the like pain stress cycle is what I call it, where it's sort of like they are affecting each other because your pain's so high, you're stressed, but then because you're so stressed, your pain isn't getting better, and it's this like horrific cycle that you just like, I'm not sure how we're supposed to get out of. And then on top of that, managing our care, managing our appointments, insurance, pharmacies, medications, the cost of all of this crap, and then all the other things we have to manage while also like living with chronic illness. It's just ridiculous. The level of stress and how much goes into managing a sick body it's unbelievable. It's so much work, it's so much time, it's so much money, it's so much energy. I've said this before and I will say it again. It's a job. It's a full-time job, except for instead of getting paid, we pay. Like, being sick is a full-time job that you pay for, is how it really ends up coming out. So like, it's so stressful and mentally draining to be sick and to have to manage your care. And then on top of that, to be told stress is toxic, stress is the worst. It's like, oh my gosh, I was like, this is like a real problem. This is a cycle that people are getting stuck in, and it's inhibiting people from being able to kind of grow and move forward. I think it's a huge reason why a lot of us stay so stuck. That's just my opinion. So my conclusion to all of this, I know it's been kind of like all over the place and rambly, but bear with me. So my conclusion to this all is that this is a super widespread problem, and a much more widespread problem for people who live with chronic illness and chronic pain and disability than I actually realized. I do not think I had even close to the full understanding of just how much this affects my community. And because it's such a huge and prevalent problem, we need more support, and we need more awareness. Like, instead of having our doctors or whomever say, you need to manage your stress better, maybe it would be helpful if they told us some ways that we could manage our stress better. Because, like, for me personally, I know that I manage my stress by doing things that I'm physically incapable of doing now. And so I don't have the tools to manage my stress. I know that I could absolutely use some tools, and I could use a little bit more support and on top of that, just some understanding that this is a really tough situation for the patient. This is a really tough situation for us as the patient to be kind of stuck, and the disabled, the chronic illness, the chronic pain communities, we definitely need a lot more support. We need a lot more help. We also need more compassion from not only the medical group, but from friends and family. What I mean by we need more compassion from the medical group as well as friends and family is, I think it's just important that for those around us to understand that this is a problem. Most of us are very aware that it's a problem, but it's something that we don't know how to manage. We don't have a lot of tools for, and we're probably even more frustrated than you. So compassion could really benefit us, I would say, in a situation like this. Like I said before, I've been given very few tools or help in how to manage stress, but I've been given many, many lectures in the dangers of it. And I think that this is it is important to remind those of you who may not know, I'm a certified yoga teacher. Before I became disabled, I taught yoga, specifically specializing in restorative yoga. So I have a pretty big toolbox in terms of what is considered like traditional stress management, and I still really struggle. So it's something that, like, I definitely know that I need more support, I need more understanding, and I need less guilt, less judgment, and less shaming. Because when you get shamed for not being able to manage stress, guess what? It makes you stressed out. Not only do we need more tools and more just like general support, but also encouragement and like positive reinforcement for when we do take those steps. So when we do take little steps to try to help manage our stress or to try to just kind of help ourselves, it's really nice when someone acknowledges that. It's really beneficial for anybody. Anytime you're trying to change behaviors or overcome something that is challenging, it's so helpful to get that positive reinforcement and to be encouraged by people instead of discouraged. Because for me, it's definitely discouraging to constantly be told that I need to change something, but not know how to do that. So to have that positive reinforcement, that encouragement by others is, I think, something that could be a real game changer for a lot of us. And on top of that, please don't judge us for doing things to manage our stress. For example, please don't say that it's selfish or that it's self-indulgent for us to get a massage or to take a bath or to go to a yoga class or to do some other type of stress reduction practice, or like stress reducing self-care. If we're trying to do those things, please don't call it self-indulgent. Finally, when you are with someone who lives with chronic pain, who lives with chronic illnesses, who is disabled, so on and so forth, please try to remember that like extra drama can be super toxic for us. I feel like it's super toxic for everybody. The extra stress that people just kind of create, it's not just annoying, it's not just an inconvenience. It can actually be physically damaging for us and can cause us to go into flares, to have pain, and to have setbacks to our wellness. So like that's just something to keep in mind. Like that might be why your friend who lives with a chronic illness, that might be why there are certain situations that they're like, I can't. Just try to remember that, I guess. And I think realistically, every single one of us, able-bodied or not, could use less stress. And like really when I kind of sat down and I finished thinking about this, that was really what I was like, my takeaway was like, we all need less stress. And what would happen, I ask you, my lovely ones, like, what would happen if we all tried to be a little bit more mindful, like able-bodied and not able-bodied people? What if we all tried to be a little bit more mindful about taking better care of our mental health and supporting and encouraging others to do the same? Like, can you imagine how great that would be if instead of shaming people for taking a mental health day, we support it and encourage it? If we made, like, we've made huge strides in destigmatizing mental health, but I feel like we have so much further to go. And I think that it's also important to remember that like stress is something that affects everybody. It doesn't affect anyone well. Those of us who live with chronic conditions are sort of just like canaries in the coal mine in the sense that it affects us faster. But I guarantee you, if you're able-bodied, extreme levels of stress are eating away at you too. Like it's there's endless amounts of evidence that stress can hurt us physically as well as emotionally. Like I've said, able-bodied or not, there's an abundance of scientific evidence that stress is toxic. So maybe like everyone should just take a deep freaking breath. We're gonna actually do it. Let's do 2 more. I hope you did those with me. If you didn't, rewind the video and do them with me. Taking a deep breath is like so amazing. It really does help. What I realized as I was kind of looking at stress and how it affects the chronic illness and chronic pain, disabled communities, I realized that this goes beyond us. And this is something that the able-bodied community should be aware of as well. What if right now we started to try to heal by just being a little bit kinder to each other, or a lot kinder to each other, a little bit more compassionate, and just understand that human beings are human beings. Like, we're all just people doing the best that we can. And life is hard. And it's been really hard recently. So if somebody snaps at you, it's so easy to snap back, but maybe try to like hold compassion if you can. If you snap at somebody else, apologize. Just what if we tried to be nicer to each other? I don't know. This video took a direction I really just never imagined that it would, which was an Instagram poll. because I was having a real shit day turned into me realizing that, like, as a society, while we may understand how serious and terrible for us stress is, we really don't help each other out with that. We really don't do a lot to, like, make it better. So what would happen if we did? That's my question. I don't know. I know that's a weird place to end, but yeah, that's kind of, it was like, that was my thought journey. I had a bad day. I posted something on Instagram and here we are. My brain like took it and ran. So that's what I have for y'all today. Random, I know, but also a hugely important topic. Hugely important topic. Not only to my community, but to like my community of humanity. I just lost my train of thought as I was like making my final point. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just end it here because I keep rambling and I'm not fine. I wanted to tie it up with a nice little bow, make a little pretty bow and finish this video, but I don't think we're gonna get there. So I'm gonna go ahead and end here. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this random, rambly video. Sorry, not sorry about that. And I would be very curious to hear in the comments below what y'all think, like your experiences with this, able-bodied and not, and how do you manage stress? That's a great question, and it's something that I'm definitely going to be exploring more and more and more. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you again for taking the time out of your day to watch it and to hang out with me. I always super duper appreciate it. If you have not already, make sure that you're subscribed. I know a lot of you are watching my videos and not subscribing. No shade, no shame, I'm not mad, but like it really does help me if you subscribe. So please make sure that if you are interested in this type of content and you like my videos, that you are subscribed. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, please and thank you. And as always, this is even more important. This video, it's even more important. Please, my loves, remember to always be kind to yourself, to be kind to others, to spread love, not hate, and to hold compassion before judgment. Wherever you are in this big, beautiful world of ours, I hope that you are staying safe. Ow, I just pulled my hair. I hope that you are staying safe and that you have the best possible rest of your day or night. I look forward to talking to you again soon, and I'm sending you all endless love. Bye!